The richest men of all time. Throughout history, money has been the sole ruler in this world.
Money.
And these men did everything to get it. Find out what is behind each penny they earned. Number 10. Cornelius Vanderbilt. This man stood out in history due to his great instinct for business.
Smells like money.
Cornelius Vanderbilt was a good American businessman and altruist of the 19th century. When he was just a child, he started to work in his father's ferry at the New York harbor. He was known for his roughness and competitive strong nature, and at the age of 16, he set up his own ferry service to transport passengers and cargo between Staten Island and Manhattan. Due to the enthusiasm he showed in his undertaking, he got the nickname the Commodore. Vanderbilt eventually built the biggest shipping empire in the world. However, some years later, he expanded his vision to the railroad business, purchasing the New York and Harlem Railroad, the Hudson River Railroad, and the New York Central Railroad. Thus, he could accumulate a considerable fortune estimated at $185 billion at the time of his death in 1877. Number 9. Henry Ford. Henry's first job was at his parents' farm. However, spending his life feeding and milking cows wasn't his thing.
I hate cows.
Therefore, in 1879, he went to Detroit to take an apprenticeship as a machinist. Even though the first two automobile companies he invested in didn't reach his goals, Ford never gave up on his ideal of providing the best affordable cars for everyone. Henry Ford was finally successful with his third project by establishing the Ford Motor Company in 1903. When he introduced his famous Model T, costing only $825, his company shook up the American industry. Selling this model was a categorical success during 20 years, and he sold over 15 million cars. Henry's net worth was $199 billion while living, and nowadays his company is the second leading automobile company in the United States. Number 8. Muammar Gaddafi. This soldier, politician, and dictator from Libya built up his immense fortune not because of his hard work, but the oppression and terror he caused in Libya for 42 years. Gaddafi belonged to a nomadic herder family from the Bedouin tribe called Al-Qaddafa in the desert of Sirte in Tripolitania. At age 27, he rose to power, being the leader of the September 1 revolution in 1969, which overthrew King Idris I. Muammar became one of the worst dictators in history, pretty soon due to his evilness and acts of terrorism all over the world to exercise his control. His government was marked with human rights violations, tortures, and destruction of his opponents.
Let's just agree to disagree, my friend.
Okay.
Post Muammar Gaddafi's death in 2011, it is known that his net worth was $200 billion, and about $70 billion were confiscated in cash from his foreign bank accounts and real estates. Number 7. William I. Due to his great power and dominance, he was known as William the Conqueror, as well as William the Bastard, since he was the son of the unmarried Duke of Normandy, Robert I, and his concubine. This fact was a problem for him when he succeeded his father at age 10, having to survive to several attacks along his first years as Duke. Most of his income came from ducal lands, turnpikes, and some taxes. It's thought Edward the Confessor, King of England, who had any descendant, promised William the crown. However, on his deathbed, he named Harold Godwinson as King of England. William claimed the throne and invaded England in September 1066, defeating Harold in the Battle of Hastings. He was crowned as king on Christmas Day of 1066 in London and left the amount of $229.5 billion to his children at his death. Number 6. Mir Osman Ali Khan. If you love diamonds, this is your favorite fat cat. He was the Nizam, or ruler of Hyderabad from 1911 till the principality was taken over by India. This state was the only diamond supplier to the global market of the 18th century. Osman Ali Khan accumulated his wealth thanks to mining royalties and profits from his properties. He had a personal collection of gold with a value of over $100 million and more than $400 million in jewels, among which the most remarkable is the fabled diamond Jacob, whose value today is $95 million. It was said he used this diamond as a paperweight in his office. Another example of his fortune was the diamonds he gave to Queen Elizabeth as a wedding present in 1947. The most exceptional ones were a tiara and an amazing diamond necklace, which is known as the Nizam of Hyderabad necklace. The fortune this ruler had was estimated at $230 billion. Number 5. Tsar Nicholas II. Everybody remembers him for being the last Russian emperor and his tragic end. Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov took the Russian throne in 1894. Unfortunately, during his reign, Russia faced a military and financial collapse. In 1918, after having abdicated, he and his family were placed under house arrest and executed by the Bolsheviks. Throughout his life, the Tsar had been amassing riches. He inherited the Imperial Russian yacht Standart II, that was one of the most gorgeous yachts of its time, and his jewel collection was one of the most expensive ever. It is known that, at the execution, his daughters could have survived the shooting as they were protected by plenty of jewels and diamond hidden into their corsets. The young ladies were finished off by bayonets.
That was horrible!
At the time of his death, the net worth of Tsar Nicholas II was $300 billion. Number 4. Andrew Carnegie. Industrialist and philanthropist, he was born in Scotland but emigrated to the United States as a child with his parents. He was the apprentice of Thomas A. Scott, owner of the Pennsylvania Railroad Company, who hired him as a telegraphist. Some years later, Carnegie provided the steel to build the Eads Bridge that crossed the Mississippi River in St. Louis, Missouri. Due to the success he achieved by building the bridge, his business, the Carnegie Steel Company, became one of the biggest and most profitable ones all over the world. Carnegie made a large fortune by selling his company in today's value of $310 billion. Carnegie spent the rest of his life retired from the business world and dedicated to philanthropy. Number 3. John D. Rockefeller. This businessman and industrial investor is considered as the richest American in living memory. Rockefeller was born in Richford, New York into a poor family, and from a young age he managed to contribute to the family economy. His first job was as a candy seller to children, and, at age 16, he was a bookkeeper in Cleveland. After some years and different business successes, he decided to invest in the oil market, so he established the Standard Oil. His enormous company controlled over 90% of the oil drilling, refining, and distribution in the United States for more than 40 years. By 1937, when he passed away, his net worth was $340 billion.
I want you to march yourself directly to the Quickie Mart and get me some chips and a beer. Get a little something for yourself, sweetheart.
Number 2. Mansa Musa. This man is proof that anything can happen when you are in the right place at the right time. Musa I ascended to the Mali throne when his predecessor left the kingdom in Musa's hands, as he had to go to an expedition into the limits of the Atlantic Ocean. But he never came back, so Musa I gained the title of the 10th Mansa, meaning King of Kings or Emperor. During the 14th century, the Mali Empire became one of the greatest powers of the world, and its capital, Timbuktu, taking the whole control of the trade in the Sahara Desert. Mali was the main source of gold to the entirety of Europe. That's why Mansa could amass a large fortune, which was shown along the 6,000 kilometers of pilgrimage to Mecca. Mansa Musa shared all his journey with thousands of soldiers, slaves, and a myriad of horses and camels carrying several golden ingots.
Then come and meet a spectacular coterie.
It's said when he stopped in Cairo, he spent and gave out so much money to poor people that caused inflation, which took many years to keep under control. In today's value, his wealth is worth about $440 billion. Number 1. Jacob Fugger. Taking the first place of this top, it's coming from Germany, this merchant, miner, and banker who was also known as Fugger the Rich due to his successful businesses. Jacob was born into a trading family, the Fugger of Augsburg, in 1459. This wily man negotiated mining rights in return for his loans, subsidized wars, and even king's elections. Fugger financed the Roman emperor and even the Pope. Although the Catholic Church considered to pay interests as a sin, Fugger convinced Pope Leon X, a client of his, to abolish that prohibition so an annual interest of 5% could be offered to clients who deposited their money in his bank in Augsburg. And not only that, but Fugger and his family established a copper monopoly in the European market. Jacob's fortune is estimated in today's value at $465 billion.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That amount makes him the richest person of all time. What a crazy amount, huh? What do you think? Will you ever be able to achieve such success? If you liked the video, don't forget to click on the like button and subscribe. You haven't seen anything yet. TrendMax has so much more. Just click on this or this video.